Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are taking a look at a new kit out from Nuke Matrix. If you guys remember the Mecha Musume B kit that we took a look at before, that was also from Nuke Matrix. This is their next kit, the Fox Long Range Striker Unit. I wasn't gonna say sniper unit because it has this big long sniper rifle there on the front, but Striker Unit because it has a lot of different weapons, actually. Really looking forward to building this one, and if you guys are also looking forward to this particular kit or other similar kits like the Attack Girls line or the Megami Device line from Kotobukiya or whatever, check the link and the coupon code in the video description down below to USA Gundam Store, guys. We carry all these cool Mecha Musume kits there at USA Gundam Store, so it's a good place to shop for those if you're in the market, but for now, let's go ahead and check out the box. So as always, right here on the front, we've got some beautiful artwork with that typical matte black finish on the back there in the background, and then our actual character illustration here has this nice glossy finish on it. So really nice box art here on the front. On the sides of the box, basically just got the same thing there. But if we take it around to the top of the box is where we can see some more details about the kit itself. So you can see it has this kind of like fox tail. So it has the whole like fox motif going on right with the tail, with little ears on the head. It's not like a very typical fox color, but that's okay. I do like the color of this. There's a look at that weapon, so you can see it's got a few different type of weapons. I think it's got this big cross weapon, which is very similar to the Kotobukiya MSG option weapons, I will say. And then you got some smaller like SMG style little rifles there that it has. So you got some cool weapon options. You got the helmet option, but you also have an option for the body, or at least these parts are removable from the body to expose like her sort of inner frame, which looks very cool. So if you want to have her like this, showing some more of that like cyborg inner skeleton or whatever, that looks super cool. So there's a look at that. Looks like we have some like sword style weapons included as well. So very cool. Popping it open, we've got a pretty large box here for this. The box seems about the same size as the box for the B, if you guys have already got or built that kit. And a bunch of runners here. We've got our face parts and all that. We've got an included base, very nice, and some water slides I see down there as well. We'll take a look at all that stuff in just a minute. I want to first just take a look here at the manual, the front of which just showing the full box art there, which again looks very nice. On the back, just the cyber forest fantasy girl. So there you go. On the inside of the manual, we got some more details. Looks like all of the text is just in Chinese. Doesn't look like there's any English for this one. There's a look at our face options for this, which look pretty alright. I mean, they're expressive enough. You should be able to do some cool stuff with that. Some more detailed images of like the, again, like mechanical cyborg kind of frame of that. The clear parts on the outside kind of give me a feeling of sort of like Metal Gear Solid 4 Raiden, with like the clear parts on top of his sort of like mechanical parts, you know what I mean? Then we've got our parts list and then the construction of the kit. But if we fast forward, looks like all the way here to the back, we've got some more sample photos, which is always great to see, because these are really nice references for posing the kit as well. So when you have a lot of options, it's nice to get some good ideas here from the manual. So there you go, like holding the helmet. This is basically a recreation of the box art there using the kit, which is very cool. Sniping pose, another kind of sniping pose with that big cross type weapon there. And then some more samples over here. On the last page, we got another look here at the assault rifles that she comes with, weapons displays, and then finally decals guide. So the guide for where to put all the decals on everything on her body and then on the weapons and all that. All right, we got a lot of stuff to get through, and I just want to start off here with the base, which is the same base that came with the B. It's a little bit ugly. It's not really to my taste, but we do have this cool feature how you can open this up, and the B kit came with like a little card that fits in there that gave you like a cool design. This one, as far as I can tell just by going through what's in here, doesn't come with anything for that. So it's just the base, a little bit plain, but we do have a nice big sheet of water slide decals here. So there's obviously our eye decals up there at the top, and then in white a bunch of other little marking decals for going around on the kit and the weapons. We've also got two little black wires that we'll use for the weapons. We've got this optional clear part here for the body for when you want to show like the cyborg kind of like spine inside there. This is actually on top of this piece, like to keep its shape. So it's in a softer plastic, which is interesting. And I'm worried that like over time this plastic will like kind of start to turn yellow, as it's sort of already a little bit yellowish and it's coloring there. But we've got a set of face parts here without anything printed on them in case you wanted to use the decals or repaint them or whatever. And then we've got our faces that do have the printing on them. And I gotta say, the print quality looks pretty nice. They're not quite as colorful as like the ones like from Kotobukiya usually. So they don't end up looking like quite as lifelike or as vibrant, but the printing on there does look good. Everything looks pretty nice. We've got all of our hand parts here, and it looks like we've just got like the standard set of hands: closed fist, open hands, open expressive hands. Looks like you got peace sign hands, holding hands, so all the stuff you would expect. And even a couple things that you wouldn't expect, like this clear effect part here for the cross type weapon, which I think this has like some film on it. I'll remove that before the review. But interestingly, this is not shown in any of the promo material as far as I've seen, but I looked in the manual and this is meant to be used as an effect part with that cross weapon, so I'll show you that in the review portion. And this as well, which also I haven't seen actually anywhere in the instructions or promotional material, but you got like the logo printed on that, and it's just like this piece of cloth. I take it out of there with a wire strung through it, so you can like change the shape of that. So this is basically meant to be like a scarf for her, I guess, which is very cool. So we'll see that in the review as well. Now just getting into the actual runners here. Runner A is in this kind of molded metallic gunmetal kind of color, and it's the same thing here for runner B, which we have 2 of. So I'm just gonna kind of go through these because they're all basically similar. Runner B1, same color, just more kind of mechanical parts there. Runner C, and we've got 2 of this C runner as well. I also have runner C1, D1 for some body parts there, as you can see, and then runner D2. Runner E then switches it up to this very dark blue color, kind of reminds me of the color we typically see the Banshee molded in, for example, from Gundam. So this dark navy blue color is used for runner E there with some weapons parts and things like that. Also runner F here, and then runner G1. We got 2 of this G1 runner there for some more navy blue parts. Runner G2, however, switches it up to some clear parts. We have 2 of this runner, 1 in clear purple and 1 in clear orange. So I'm not sure if it's just the matter of like you can choose between one or the other, or like some parts you need in clear purple, some parts you need in clear orange, but either way you will definitely have some options there, it looks like. Runner H is going to be all of our skin tone parts here for the kit. Looks very nice. Runner H1 and then runner H3 are some more just wrist joint parts there mostly, it looks like, just a few little joint bits. Runner J we have 2 of, this is just some clear arm parts there for your display base. Runner K is in this nice molded silver, so that'll be cool for some little silver accents around on the kit. Runner L is in light blue for all of our hair parts. Runner M1 is some of that clear black, which looks very nice. And then runner N is a few more parts in that dark navy color, and that's it. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of stuff in there, and you have a lot of like these extra bits and things, other accessories and stuff included. So definitely a very stacked box. It should be a very cool kit. Let me go ahead and get it all built up and we'll see how she looks. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up, and for the moment I've gone for this version of the torso, which has the spinal column and then like the clear plastic part over that, just to show you guys how this is going to look at first, but then later on I'll switch it up and show you guys the different versions of the torso basically that you can make with this, and all the weapons and everything else, because you do get a lot of really nice option parts and just a lot of stuff here in the box, a lot of different options and things like that that you can do with this. So very cool set. The kit looks really cool, just the mechanical arms and legs I think look really cool, especially with those clear black parts added onto the legs. Those look super cool. I do really like this design for its simplicity, and that like it doesn't have like a huge backpack and all these big massive wings or something all over the place. It's like a pretty simple design, but it does have a lot of really nice detail in there in the mechanical bits. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the accessories and everything. So first off, let's just address this clear part here, which does look really nice, but it's kind of a little bit weird fitting on there because like the bottom part, it's kind of hard to get it kind of like centered on there, and the top part it's wedged up pretty tight, and you can see it's not actually in there, so like it's not a really good solid fit in there. I think it's a really cool looking part and a really interesting idea. I just think next time maybe instead of just like a soft part like this, which the soft part is good like for articulation, but then like when you see like when it's bending, like it's still like looking weird anyway. So personally I would opt for just regular clear plastic, not this soft plastic, something that has that's like a better fit. And if it's causing like loss of articulation and like you can't articulate it quite as well because it's a clear plastic part there, I'm not that bothered by that. I would just prefer that it looks good. And this one looks alright from a distance, but then like you can see like it's not fitting up inside there as it is on this side because there's just not enough clearance in it. The parts are just too tight for that to fit up inside there. You could like cut this clear part, and that would be one way to make it work. The other issue with the stomach section is just that when you're bending this around a bunch, it does have a tendency to come apart just because this spinal column is basically held together by those 2 wires. There's a wire that goes goes up and like loops like a U up through there, and it kind of comes out up here inside at the top of the body. And unless you glue that wire down in the top or like somehow tie it or something, I have it like bent at like a pretty sharp angle, but I'm noticing it still kind of comes apart sometimes. So as you can see, what I've done here at the top is to like loop it around and like tuck it back into there. That's what I found to be the best option for that. It's a little bit tricky to do, but especially if you have like needle nose pliers or something, that will help you to get that wire bent in up around there, and then that holds this together, because basically that's all that's holding this spinal column together is that wire there. So now if we remove that clear part, again, it does look very cool, and you guys can see some more of that detail in there. It's a really cool design, very interesting, but it's a little bit floppy now, and it's going to be kind of hard to hold a pose just because of that wire is basically all that's holding these parts together. Those separate parts don't actually really plug into each other really. So if you were to like set it in an action pose or something like that, it'll stay like that well enough, but I feel like once you get like a weapon in the hand or something, you're going to be dealing with some weight issues, and it's just going to be a little bit difficult to pose. It can do it, it can pull it off, I feel like, and especially if you were to use like a larger gauge wire or something like that, just customize this, modify it a little bit with a different gauge wire or like an actual rod or something, would probably be a better bet for that. Again, losing some articulation for a little bit more stability. Not really that big of a deal, I think. And we've got a lot of accessory and option parts with this, so I'm just going to go through these kind of like from the head down. First of all, you've got option parts for the hair that don't have these attachment points for those little bits in the hair. If you didn't want to have those, you got just a regular one. Up in here for the neck and these shoulder joint pieces, like those parts, like the top part of the torso, you've got option parts for those in dark blue if you didn't want to have them in skin tone. I opted to use the skin tone parts for those, but if you didn't want to have those in just to make it look more like a bodysuit or whatever, again without painting. If you paint, then it doesn't matter, but this is just the same parts molded in two different colors. I forgot there is also this part which will go around up inside of here, up under there, but how I showed you guys how I have the wires tucked into there, where I have the wire like bent around and tucked up inside there, that's where this plugs in actually from the bottom. So with how I have the wires, I can't actually put this piece in there, so that's just something that you would have to address if you wanted to have the kit like this. For the arms, we've got the alternative like armored version, so you've got like the just regular kind of robotic arms, and then you've got these kind of armored arms. And with these, you've got three different options for the wrist piece. You got that little one right like that. You also got this piece, then you've got another version of that piece with like these little kind of bits sticking off the side of there. And the arms are really cool. I have those clear purple parts in there. Those look really nice. If you take this part off the side of the arm, you just got a hard point on there where you could plug something else onto there instead, but as it is, you're just kind of meant to have this armor piece there on the side of there. We've got our alternate chest piece here, which is obviously the much more armored version of the chest as well. Then for the main torso, I'll put these together here in a little bit because you need to use some parts, but basically you have the parts to make it either entirely flesh tone or entirely in like this bodysuit color, which is in that kind of metallic gray gunmetal type color on the back side of that. Whichever color option you choose, there's going to be your hard point there. And on the front side, you've got three different options, the same piece in either like the metallic gray or skin tone, or you have this one which gives you this kind of armor paneling there on the front. And then you can mix and match whether you want to have it like the middle part in gray and the side parts in skin tone, or the middle part in skin tone and the side bits in metallic gray. So whichever way you want to do it, there's lots of options there for you with that. I'll switch that up for you guys here in a little bit and show you what that's going to look like. Here is what is essentially the backpack. So this will plug onto our back, and this will be where you can store some weapons. Got some cool clear purple parts for that as well. Then down here on the feet, you got some options for these bits. So you can have those either in like clear black, which is what I have on there at the moment, or just in the gunmetal metallic kind of color there. For the head, you also have the option of using just the full masked version of this. Now this is really cool. You have the clear orange piece inside there for like the eye, and you also have these stickers which you can stick one. It gives you two, but you only need one. You can stick one of them onto here to just give it like enhance the sort of lens look of that, this camera lens. Then you stick this clear purple part over the top of that, and it does look really cool in there for this helmet. Normally I'm not that much of a fan of like helmet heads on these Mecha Musume kits. I just prefer like just the head and hair and all that so you can see the actual character, but this one is pretty cool. And just like with the arms, you can swap out the legs, which are really cool, both versions of the legs. I do really like those clear black parts here on the mechanical legs, but then you have these armored legs, which do make really cool use of the clear purple parts up at the top and then here on the front. And then of course you have this kind of design here, giving it the wolf, or I guess a fox type feet claws there on the bottom, which do look really cool as well. So really interesting design, kind of whichever version you choose. Then we've got her foxtail equipment, which will attach onto like her lower back. So this is just a really cool design as well. This one opens up and you got some more detail up inside there. These are like spare magazines for the sniper rifle stored up in there, so you have a couple points for articulation and how this will just plug onto her back. And for the gun, you've got a couple options here. This is kind of the regular assault rifle kind of type look for that, so you got little cool bits of silver and clear purple in there. So you can make 2 of these and you have the option barrel for that, or you can make 1 of them into the sniper rifle. But if you do want to have 2 of those, it's just a matter of switching out the barrel piece and then also the clear purple piece on the top. So you can't make 2 of the sniper rifle, just 2 of the assault rifle. But here is what the sniper rifle looks like. You got this bipod here on the front. These bits are just on ball joints and do tend to pop out kind of easily, but those will just fold down like that for posing. You can also just remove this entire section if you didn't want to have that bipod on there. It's just a kind of empty space right there for that. And that's where these option parts for the arm will come into play. This piece as an option part for the wrist will plug onto there like that. So when you have this holding onto the handle, it'll give you extra stability, as that will be plugged onto the forearm there as well. And this piece is for holding our kind of, for lack of a better term, I'm going to say beam saber handle, because that's essentially what it is. So that will just be able to plug onto the back of your forearm there like that. And we have our clear effect part for that, clear purple, but you could use clear orange if you prefer. As we saw in the unboxing portion, we have the same clear purple parts also in clear orange. So like all the clear purple parts that you see everywhere around on the kit could be clear orange if you prefer that color. So you do have color options for all those. We also got this little knife, which is just one little piece, very simple but cool little accessory. And there's still more in case that wasn't enough. Of course, we have this scarf piece, which we saw before, and the wire in that makes it pretty easy to kind of pose. And I don't know, like I said, using like cloth parts with plastic models has never really been something I think ever looks that good, but it honestly doesn't look too bad with this, and you can get more creative with it than I am. I'm just throwing it on there just so you guys can get a sense of that. But finally, our last weapon here is this gigantic cross weapon, which has this handle on this side with this. So first of all, these bits here on the side will rotate, and you got hard points on there for plugging on more option parts or something like that if you wanted. They don't actually turn all the way around though, so you can either have them just pointing forward or pointing back. This main section will open up, but you got like a cap piece here in the end that you need to remove first. So just kind of open this up and that cap piece will come out. Slide that up, slide that down, and that's opened up. And then you can extend these rails out of here, and they're not like held in place very well. So you can see if I just do like that, they're kind of like falling back down. So there's not like any click to those, so just had to maybe tighten that up a little bit or something, but there you go. And then out the back side, that extends out and exposes like a little bit more like a silver vent piece there at the back. So that's very cool. It can just be handheld using this handle there, and you probably will need another like support piece or something for that, because this is pretty heavy. And especially if we take off this part here off the front and replace that with this clear effect part, which is just plain clear, which is nice. So that gives you the ability to paint this in whatever color you want, clear purple or clear orange, clear green or blue, whatever you want to do. I will just say that the way that it's cut out, like the edges, I would recommend probably sanding those a little bit, because they're like a little bit kind of rough just the way that it's been cut out of the plastic. But there is with the clear effect part on there, which is also pretty cool, which unfortunately you don't actually see in any like the promo images or anything like that, but it is also included. Really nice accessory for the weapon there. And if I can interest you guys in one last weapon accessory for this, you can just cut off a piece of runner and then just drill a hole in the end, use a 1.5mm rod, in this case brass or aluminum, whatever, and you can have a different beam saber effect part here for this, a lightsaber style one, which you can see is a little bit longer. So this is just a cut off piece of runner, just sanded down, and there you go, custom beam saber effect part for that, made easy. So we'll try out some different action poses and stuff with this kit, but it's going to be basically impossible for me to show you guys everything that you can do with it, because as you saw, there's a lot of different option parts in here, between the optional limbs, the optional weapons, the optional ways you can make the weapons, the optional parts for the body, everything. It's just a really cool set, definitely. And sometimes with kits like this, you have a lot of optional parts, but then like some of them you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm ever really going to use that. There's like a certain set that of parts that you know that look really good, and then another set are just kind of like throwaway extras for the most part. But with this kit, this is like honestly a kit that I wouldn't mind having 2 of, because there's a lot of really cool options that you can make with this, and it's really difficult to decide how exactly you want to end up outfitting the kit. or if you can bring yourself to decide on one particular way to outfit this kit, at least you've got a lot of extra parts that would look really good mixed matched on other different kits. So if you wanted to like mix some parts with a Kotobukiya Megami Device kit or like a Attack Girls kit or something, you've got a lot of really great option parts, the option limbs, the option weapons, things like that, that should be pretty compatible with those other different type kits as well. So this is a kit that I was really looking forward to since it was first announced and I saw the initial images of this. And I'm just really happy to report to you guys that it is just as good and just as cool as I was expecting it to be, that I was hoping it to be just from when I first saw it. Everything on the kit is really solid. I'm not really experiencing anything with any loose parts or anything like that. The cross weapon is super heavy, so you will have a little bit of weight issues holding that up depending on how you're having the kit. The spinal column section, that part can be a little bit kind of loosey-goosey depending on, again, just depending on the kind of pose that you want to do with that. But even if that part is kind of touchy, I'm just impressed that they just did something different for a change. So you have like all these Kotobukiya kits, Attack Girls kits, and the Nuke Matrix kits, and everything, just kind of all the Mecha Musume kits are all kind of pretty standard in terms of the construction, especially the body construction. But this is the first kit where they did something different for the torso, having that kind of mechanical cyborg spinal column there instead of just like the standard torso design. So I really like that it's just got some really unique aspects to the design this time. And so aside from that, the only other real criticism I guess that I could levy against this would just be the faces. The faces are nice and the printing on them is nice, but they're just still not quite as nice as Kotobukiya faces. So still, as it stands, Kotobukiya just has the best face option parts, the best looking face option parts for their kits, while some of these other companies are getting pretty close and some pretty good looking faces, and you have some nice options available with this one. They're definitely not bad at all. If we're going to grade it to like Kotobukiya being a perfect 100, then this is like 80, 90 is pretty close. These are some nice looking faces. They're just still not quite as nice as Kotobukiya's, but overall, fantastic kit, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And of course, you guys can check out this kit and lots of other Mecha Musume kits at USA Gundam Store. We'll have this there for you guys. The link and the coupon code for you guys to use will be down in the video description below. I can definitely very highly recommend this kit, and just comparing it to their previous kit, the B kit, I think between the two, I definitely prefer this one. That one was really cool as well, but this one is definitely an improvement, so I'm looking forward to what Nuke Matrix will come out with in their next kit if they continue improving on the kits. But lastly, guys, thank you all so much for your support, liking the video, commenting, subscribing. It's all greatly appreciated, or if you're just here and watching the video here to the end, I really appreciate it. And so until next time, guys, I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.